Hi everyone, Kelly here, and I'm here to announce round 5 of the Middle Grade Magic Readathon. This is a readathon that my co-host and I have put on, obviously, for this is the 5th year. We usually do it in the summertime, but this year we decided to move it to October and do it more seasonally for, well, fall for those in the Northern Hemisphere, or it would be spring for those in the Southern Hemisphere. You can pick the season you want to be celebrating. And the readathon this year will be running from October 20th to October 31st. And it's just to celebrate middle grade books. And, middle grade magic, you could interpret that as reading like middle grade fantasy, but I think it's also just about the magic of middle grade books, the way that we can still get things out of reading middle grade books as adults. And the other hosts for this readathon are Kara from Wild Book Garden, Kier from Kier the Scrivener, Yara from Array of Reading, and Yvette from Book Cave. And I'll make sure to link all of them down below so you can see their announcement videos, and then if they have any kind of TBRs or, suggestions on reading and all that stuff, you can find them in their channels down in the description. And for our theme this year, we decided to make this round a little more chill and relaxing with kind of 2 different tiers. You can do like a beginning tier and a more challenging tier, throw in some seasonal prompts, and just make it really easy to participate. So if you only wanted to read one book, you could do that by doing tier 1 for beginners. It's 3 different prompts, but you could find one book that fit all 3 prompts. Or you can, decide I want to be a beginner, but I want to read 3 different books. Or you can move on to the challenging prompts and, as many prompts as you want to fit like a book, or you can do 1 book per prompt. However you want to do it, we're trying to make it very easy to participate, but still have some fun things that you can focus your reading around. So for our tier 1 for beginners, like I said, there's 3 prompts. The first one is to read a book that feels seasonal to you. So that could be a cozy, spooky kind of book if you're in the Northern Hemisphere and we're like, in fall, kind of, it's going to be around Halloween. Or maybe if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, maybe you want to do a spring related book. However you feel this season for your reading. Or if you're someone that doesn't really like to read by seasons, you could do just something with seasonal colors on the cover. So say it's fall, you might want to pick something that has like orange and red on the cover. However you want to interpret that seasonal type prompt. Prompt 2 is to read a book by a Latin American author. And then 3 is to read a book nominated for an award or listed on a reading list other than the Newbery Award. And you can pick a book that has been awarded a Newbery, but it has to have also appeared on a different award list. And this was just to be able to try a variety of things. And we will be linking a Google Doc down in the information box so that if you don't know what some of the other awards are for children's literature, we'll have a link to a bunch of different awards so you can find a book. There's lots of them because we are including both awards and reading lists. So there's plenty to choose from. And if you want, you can join in with us on our group read, which fulfills all 3 prompts for the beginning level. So we are going to have an optional group read of Witchlings by Claribel A. Ortega. And so the hosts, we will all be reading this together, and we will be doing a live show. The date for that will be determined. If we figure that out before this goes up, I'll make sure to put it in the description box. And this is the beginning of a fantasy series where we are following a group of young witchlings, and our main character is named Seven. And I think this might involve kind of a magic school, and they are trying to go through this ceremony to find out which coven they're going to belong to. But at the night of the ceremony, Seven is not placed into a specific house, and she is what is known as a spare. And so it's kind of her adventures after that. It seems like it might be a bit of a quest story and a way to figure out how to gain full powers as a witch, and I've heard really good things about it, and it fulfills all 3 of the prompts for the beginner level. So if you want just 1 book, even if you can't join us for the live show whenever that is, you might want to just have 1 book that fits all 3 of those prompts. Or like I said, you could find another book that fits all 3 or do 3 different books. And if you finish the beginner tier and you want to move on to the more challenging tier 2, you have to have completed all 3 of the beginner prompts, and then we have 7 more prompts. So prompt 4 is to read a friend or a book blogger's recommendation. Number 5 is to read a book in a series. So that could be start a series, later in a series, however you want to interpret that. Number 6 is to read a book that counts towards a goal or a project you have. And this could be a very loose one. You don't have to have announced it anywhere. It just might be something that you personally wanted to do this year. Number 7 is to read a book by an author you love. Number 8 is to read a book in a genre you don't read as often in middle grade. For me, this would probably be contemporary. I often read fantasy or sci-fi or historical fiction when I'm reading middle grade, but I don't often read like real life contemporary settings, so I might pick up something for that prompt that is contemporary. Number 9 is read a book from a previous TBR. It doesn't have to be from a previous middle grade magic readathon. It could just be any TBR that you have set for yourself and didn't accomplish a book. You could read that book for this. And then the last prompt is 10 is read a book featuring Latin American folklore or mythology. And so like I said, you could combine as many prompts as you want and end up only reading a few books, or you could go for reading 10 whole books if you have time in the 11 days of the readathon. I probably will only be reading like 3, maybe 4, and I'll just be combining some prompts together, especially since I'll be reading the group book. I will be accomplishing tier 1 and can just pick a few more books to accomplish tier 2. So let me know if you're going to join us. Make sure to check out the other hosts, and I will see you next time. Bye.